Hello beautiful, and welcome to our mat work class today. So we're just going to do a bit of everything for today's practice. So nice well-rounded class. You're not going to need any props, we're just keeping everything nice and simple. Just grab your mat and we're ready to go. So let's start in our quadruped. So on all fours, knees under hips, hands just forward of the shoulders, and let's just start to bring a little bit of movement into the hips. So you can just sway your hips from side to side. And you can move as much or as little as you like here. And then just come back to center. We'll do a couple of rounds of cat-cow. As we inhale, we'll drop the belly, lift up the heart. Exhale, tuck your chin, rounding your spine. Inhale, drop the belly, lift your heart. Exhale, rounding the spine. Just do one more here with your breath. And then inhale, coming back to the center. Now from here, what we're going to do is just stretch our right leg out behind you. Engage your core here, so draw the belly button to the spine. Take an inhale here, and then as we exhale, start to float the right leg up. Inhale to tap, exhale to lift. Let's go for 8 more here. 7, so just starting to warm up here through the back of that right leg. So you want to feel like you're lifting up here from the right glute. Let's go for 3. Last 2. Last 1. Just hold here and we'll just start to pulse. Pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, hopefully you're warming up a little bit already. Last 1, let's hold here. And then gently release. I'm going to come back to that side in a minute. Take an inhale here to stretch your left leg out behind you. Exhale, float the left leg up. Inhale to tap, exhale to lift. Let's go for 8 more here. So again, just really initiating the movement from your left glute. So giving your left glute a little bit of an extra squeeze when you get up to the top. Let's go for 4, 3, you've got your core switched on, spine nice and long. Last 1, hold at the top, pulse, pulse, pulse. For 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful, gently release. All right, we're going to come back over to the right side. Core switched on, just keep your pelvis nice and stable as well. Inhale, float that right leg behind you. Exhale. Let's just hold here for a moment. Now we're going to add the arms in as well. So opposite arm and leg, so we're starting to challenge our balance a little bit. So when you feel ready, you can float your left arm out as well. And then we're just going to float the right leg, left arm out to the side, and then squeeze everything back to the center. Out to the side, squeeze everything back to center. Beautiful. Let's just do that a few more times. So starting to challenge our balance, just make sure you're breathing the whole time. Stabilize your core. Just keeping the arm and the leg the same height the whole way across. Just one more round here with your breath. Now you can drop the hand down to the mat, keeping the right leg long. Inhale, just lengthen through the spine. And then as we exhale, knee to nose. So you're drawing your knee towards the nose. Inhale to extend. Exhale to round. Let's go for 8 more here. So just bringing our core into this a little bit now. So warming up through the core, warming up through that right leg. Let's go for 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Beautiful, gently release. Let's just have a little rest here before we change sides. So you can drop the knees wide, stretch forward into your child's pose. And just center yourself here, connect to your breath. And then when you're ready, let's come back over into quadruped. Switch your core on and take an inhale here. Stretch the left leg behind you. And then exhale, float the left leg up. Just stabilize yourself here again. And then when you feel ready, you can stretch the right arm out long. So you might start to get a bit wobbly here. So you can just press through the front of your right leg, press down through the palm of the left hand to help you here. And then as we inhale, let's start to come out on that little angle. So coming out to the side and then squeezing back to center, out to the side, squeeze back to center. So getting into the inner seam of the left leg and the right arm. Let's go for 4 more here. Just keep looking down to your mat so your spine stays nice and long. Last one. Drop the right hand back down to the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, round the spine, knee to nose. Inhale to extend. Exhale to round. Let's go for 8 more here. So again, just starting to bring the abdominals into the movement a little bit here. Let's go for 3 more here. Last 2. Last 1. Beautiful. Gently release. Drop the knees wide. Fold forward into your child's pose. Just recenter, reconnect to your breath. One more deep breath here. As we inhale, roll on up through the spine, coming back over onto hands and knees. And this time we're bringing the hands wide on the mat. So option number 1 is to stay in this sort of boxy shape here. We're coming into a chest press. So option 1 is here, and then you use the inhale to lower all the way down. Elbows can go wide for this one. And then exhale to press up. And then if you need a little bit more, you can walk your hands a bit further forward on the mat. And same here again, inhale to lower, exhale to press. If you wanted to come into a full push-up, you're more than welcome to do that. So just see what level serves you today. Take an inhale here. We'll start to lower our chest all the way down to the mat. And then exhale to press. Inhale to lower, exhale to press. Let's go for 8 more here. So just starting to work our chest, work our shoulders and the arms, bringing a little bit of upper body into the class today. Let's go for 4 more here. 3. Last 2. This time when you come down, let's just hold halfway down for 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Okay, bring your hands a little bit closer together now so they're a little bit more narrow on the mat, and we're just changing it up a little bit. So we're coming into the triceps now, the back of the arms. So for this one, you want to make sure that the elbows are tucked in so they're coming in towards your side waist. Same options here again. So option 1 is to stay in this sort of boxy shape here, and then you use the inhale to lower the elbows down towards the mat, and then exhale to press. If you need a little bit more, just walk your hands further forward, and then you can press from here. So you might not come all the way down, tapping the elbows to the mat. That's totally fine. Just work with whatever you've got today. And then option number 3, I'll give you this option as well. And if you take this option, I'll tell you when to change legs, is to float one leg up behind you. So this is where we were before. And then you inhale to lower and then exhale to press. So that's just adding a little bit of a different element. And then obviously we'll change sides. So you see what feels good for you today. Let's get started. As we inhale, start to lower down to the mat and then exhale to press. Inhale to lower. Exhale to press. Let's just do 5 more here. So hopefully you can feel the arms starting to heat up by now. Let's go for 3 more here. Last 2. Last 1. We're going to have a bit of a break here just for a moment. And if you had one leg extended, you're going to change sides. All right, let's go for the second round. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. We're going to do 6 more here, so not too many rounds for this one. It is quite a small muscle, so we don't need to go too crazy to get it working for us. Let's go for 3. Last 2. Last 1. Beautiful. Gently release. Just drop back into your child's pose. And just center yourself here. Connect back to your breath. As you inhale, just roll on up through the spine. We're going to come over onto our bottom. Little intermission before we come down onto our back. So you're up on the sitting bones. So just make sure you're up nice and high on the sit bones. Coming into boat pose. So we're just going to take a hold of the underside of our thighs. Rock back on the sit bones and then start to float your feet up off the mat. So option 1 is to stay here. Option 2 is to float the hands away. And we'll just stick with those 2 options to begin. So things to look out for here. So you might find that your spine will start to round. So you want to make sure that you can keep the heart open. Keep looking forward. And make sure you're breathing here as well. So you want to make sure that you're not holding your breath. Let's hold for another 6, 5, 4. How are we doing? Last 3, last 2, and 1. Beautiful. Let's come into butterfly. So soles of the feet together, knees drop wide, and we'll just have a little fold forward here. Just release everything, let it all go. One more breath here, and then we are going to do one more round of our boat pose. As we inhale, let's roll on up, draw the knees together. Okay, so let's get set up again. So you're up on the sitting bones, spine is nice and long, rock back, float the feet up. Okay, so remember we had option 1 here, option 2. Option 3, you could extend those legs long. And you could also play around with tapping the toes to the mat. So you could either do double toe tap like I'm doing here, or you could do single toe tap, or you could just stay still. See what feels good for you. Let's hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Gently release, flop forward into your butterfly. Just let it all go. Let those knees fall wide, rounding through the spine. Just slowing your breath down a little bit. Inhale, let's start to roll on up through the spine. If you need to just shuffle forward a little bit, you can, just to come all the way down onto your back, and then we're actually going to just turn over to one side. It doesn't matter too much which side you start on. So we're coming to lay all the way down. So with that bottom arm, you could have it long and then just rest your head down onto your bicep. Or you could cradle your head in your hands here. And then this hand, the top hand, will be either to your hip, or you can bring those fingertips out in front for a little bit of extra support and stability. So you want to make sure the top hip is stacked over the top of the bottom hip. Core is switched on, pelvis is nice and stable. And then just start to draw your knees up, sort of in height, in the same height as your belly button. So we've got that 90-degree angle here. Take an inhale here to prepare, and then as we exhale, start to float the top leg up. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Let's go for 8 more here. So just nice, simple movement to begin. If you can try and keep that top leg the same height all the way across. Let's go for 4, 3, last 2, last 1. A little bit different now. We're going to start to ride our bike. So as we inhale, let's draw our knee up towards the chest, and then exhale, flex your foot, press that foot away. Inhale, and then exhale. Let's go for 8 more of those as well. So now that we're starting to move around a little bit, just be really mindful of your core and your pelvis so that they're still stable, they're not rocking and rolling around too much. And you want this movement to be nice and slow and fluid. Let's do 3 more here. So hopefully you're starting to feel that in that left glute or whatever glute is on the top. Last one. Now let's press that leg away. And what we're going to do now is use the inhale just to float that foot forward. And then exhale, float it back. Inhale, float the foot forward, just to the degree that feels okay for you. And then exhale, drive that foot back. And when you're driving it back, see if you can just slightly come back behind the hip. Let's do a few more rounds here. And again, just trying to keep that top leg the same height the whole way across. Beautiful work. Let's do 3 more here. Last 2. Now this time, let's float that foot forward. I'm starting to cramp. Float that foot up now, and then just allow that foot to kind of hang so your toes are starting to drop down towards the mat. Take an inhale here to tap down, and then exhale to lift. Inhale to tap, exhale to lift. Let's go for 8 more here. So that's really getting into that top glute now. So you can probably feel that. We'll start to move out of here soon enough. Let's go for 4, 3, last 2, last 1. Beautiful. Let's gently release. Just give that glute a little bit of a tap if you need to, or a bit of a rub. You're doing amazing. All right, let's roll over onto our back. We're just going to do a little abdominal intermission before we change sides. We're going to come into a single leg stretch. So for this one, we'll start to hug one knee in towards our chest and the other leg is long, and then we switch, switch, switch. Now this can either be done with your head down onto your mat like I have got now. So this is level 1, and then level 2 is to crunch up. So see what feels good for you. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Just hug those knees into your chest. Take a little rock and roll from side to side. Okay. So let's do another set of those abdominals. So remember, option 1 is here, head to the mat. Option 2 is to crunch up. And then if you wanted to, you could try out the next level, which is to come into your scissors. So sort of the same action, but the legs are long. And you switch, switch, switch. So you can do this one with your head down on the mat, especially if you've got any issues with your neck today, or you can crunch up. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Gently release. Hug the knees into your chest. Just have a little rock and roll here from side to side. And then we're going to come over onto the other side now. So I'm just going to flip around so I can still face you. But you can just flip over to the other side if that works for you. So we're doing those glute exercises that we did on the other side. So remember, the bottom arm can be long, and then you can rest your head down onto your bicep, or you can cradle your head in your hands. And then we're just starting to bring our knees up in line with the belly button. Hips are stacked on top of each other, core switched on. Just stabilize everything here and just really have a slight lift through the side waist here as well. Take an inhale here, and then as we exhale, let's start to float the top leg up. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Let's go for 8 more here. So you might find that one side feels a bit different than the other. That's totally normal. So just go with whatever comes for you on this side, trying to keep that leg the same height the whole way across. Let's go for 2 more here. Last one, and then we'll start to ride our bike as we inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, press that foot away. Inhale, exhale. We've got 8 more here. So again, just try and make it that nice fluid movement here. And now that we're starting to move around, just bring your awareness back to your core, to your pelvis, and just make sure it's all still nice and switched on and staying in place. Last 2. Last 1. Now stretch that top leg out long. As we inhale, let's float that leg forward. And then exhale, flex, drive it back. Inhale, float the leg forward. And exhale, flex, drive it back. Beautiful. Let's go for 8 more here. So you might be starting to feel that top glute by now. That leg might start to feel a little bit heavy. So if it does, just push through if you can. Try and keep that leg the same height the whole way across. Let's go for 4 more here. Make sure you're still breathing the whole time as well. Last 2. Now this time, inhale, float the leg forward and float it up, and then have a floppy foot. So you can just let that foot go, toes start to point down towards the mat. You're really feeling that one now. Inhale to tap down, exhale to lift. Let's go for 8 more. 7, and this is our last little bit in this sequence, and then we can move on and give that glute a little bit of a rest. Let's go for 4. Last 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Gently release. Tap it out if you need to. You're doing amazing. All right, let's roll on over onto our back. And we're just going to finish with more abs, of course, and then we are all done. Okay, so what we're going to do is come up into tabletop, so you can float your feet up off the mat. Now, before we move, just make sure you've either got your neutral spine, or if you need to, you can roll back into imprint. So that's just where you roll your lower back and press it down against the mat. All right, so as we inhale, we're going to float the legs all the way up. So remember, you can have the knees bent too, that's totally fine. And we're moving in 3 little parts. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. You can always do whatever breath work or breath rhythm works for you as well. So just 3 little sections for this exercise. If you find that your lower back starts to arch up off the mat, you could roll back into imprint if you're not already. Or just have a little bit of a break and then just reset the pelvis and then come back into the exercise. Let's do 3 more here. Hopefully you're starting to feel those abs warm up even more. And we've got 1 final round to go. Beautiful. Just hug your knees into your chest and have a little rock and roll here. We've got 1 final exercise to go, and then you are all done for today. You've done so well. All right. So for this next one, our final exercise for this class is to come back into tabletop, and then you're essentially just riding your bike with your legs. So this is option 1. Just be mindful of your core and pelvis here as well. And then option 2 is to float your legs along, and then you want to slightly externally rotate the legs. So just rotating them out to the side slightly, and then we start to beat our heels. Beautiful. Let's go for 10, 9, 8. So remember, the higher that you are, the easier it is. So if you need a break, come higher. If you need more, come lower. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, breathing. Last one, and hug the knees into your chest. Have a rock and roll here. Maybe you want to roll around in one direction and then the other. Just massaging your lower back. And then just drop the feet to the mat and drop the knees over to one side. And then over to the other side. We'll do that a few times just to release out through the lower back. Hopefully you're feeling nice and warm and like you've worked your body, and just set aside just some time for yourself too. All right, let's hook the right ankle over the left knee, and you can either stay here or you can pull your knees towards your chest, just stretching out that right glute. You might even like to close your eyes down here. 2 more big breaths. And then let's gently release. We're going to change sides, hooking the left ankle to the right knee. And you can stay with your foot grounded to the mat, or you can pull through, really getting into that left glute now. That should feel really nice here. And then inhale, gently release. I'm just going to rock and roll on the spine a few times until you can get some momentum to come up. Just come into a seated position, inhaling, floating the arms up. Exhale, just come down to one side for a beautiful little side bend. Inhale to center. Exhale, come over to the other side. Inhale to center and exhale, hands through the heart. We are all done. Thank you so much for joining me for our practice. If you have more time available, I highly suggest just spending a bit more time doing some stretches and maybe some breathing. If not, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you at the next class.